In this video, we will talk about climate change, a carbon conundrum. China's government has committed to nationwide carbon neutrality, but the country's dependency on coal runs dauntingly deep. The article has been taken from the Fortune magazine. Chinese President Xi Jinping made a bombshell environmental declaration to United Nations General Assembly. China, the world's largest producer of greenhouse gases, would begin reducing its overall emission after peaking in 2030 and by 2060. President Xi said the nation would achieve carbon neutrality. Xi's pledge broke through the pandemic-dominated news cycle, pitching China as a global leader in environmental responsibility. But it did not affect the goings-on at Hohhot Zhejiang power station. There on the fringes of Gobi Desert in Inner Mongolia, hundreds of workers are building 2 new power generation units to supply more electricity to 2 million plus residents of Hohhot, the regional capital. The 5 billion yuan project, which broke ground May 31, will more than triple Hohhot Zhejiang's energy capacity to 1,920 megawatts once the units go live in October 2022. And it will all be fueled by coal, one of the world's dirtiest energy sources. The Hohhot project is no outlier. Provincial governments in China greenlit more coal plants projects in the first half of 2020 than they did in 2018 and 2019 combined, 17 gigawatts in all, enough to power several million homes. The fact helps illustrates one of China's vexing paradoxes. The planet's biggest investor in green energy technology is also addicted to coal. Energy security concerns and entrenched industrial interests are very difficult to get rid of. The dirty little rock. It is a habit China needs to kick. Since 2006, when it overtook the US, China has been the world's largest carbon polluter. A carbon-neutral China would lower the projected global average temperature in 2060 by 0.2 to 0.3 degrees Celsius, a meaningful impact climate researchers estimate. But for China to reach carbon neutrality, coal's share of its power generation mix would need to fall to 12% from 62% today. And China's quest for a greener energy economy has repeatedly taken a backseat in recent years to maximizing economic growth. The country's coal consumption declined from 2013 through 2017 during a national campaign to fight air pollution, then rebounded as pressure to mitigate an economic slowdown took precedence. Today, large-scale infrastructure projects like coal plants are helping jumpstart economic activity that slowed early this year because of the coronavirus. The coal surge also reflects a tension between the needs of regional leaders by the goals of Beijing government. The coal surge also reflects a tension between needs of regional leaders and the goals of Beijing government. Coal project approvals boomed after 2014 when the authority to permit new construction passed from the central government to provincial leaders. For the latter, the projects are a surefire way to boost jobs and GDP in the short run. As a local governor, that's a local legacy. A desire for self-reliance also keeps coal paramount in China's energy mix. China's huge coal reserves mean industries need not to rely on other countries to meet their energy demands. By contrast, for its second largest energy source, oil, China is highly dependent on imports. Energy security tops the leadership agenda. The irony is that even as it has nurtured its coal industry, China's government has outpaced most others in promoting renewables. China is the world's largest producer, exporter, and installer of solar panels and wind turbines. In 2019, it invested $83.4 billion in renewable energy capacity, more than any other nation. The US invested $55.5 billion that year. Renewables accounted for 8.9% of China's total electricity generation in 2018. Factors in hydropower and nuclear power, and China's share of energy from non-fossil fuel sources rises to about 30%, impressive as its growth has been. However, renewable energy has not reached critical mass in China, in part because of wind and sunshine are less reliable than coal, and in part because of the privately owned enterprises that dominate the renewable sector lack the clout and connections that state-owned coal giants enjoy. Tipping the balance in favor of green energy will require dramatic steps. In order to reach the goals Xi announced, China's need to stop building new coal plants, accelerate the phase out of existing ones, and table the construction of recently permitted projects. The most challenging part of shift will be the social transition that comes with it. Coal-rich provinces like Inner Mongolia, the home of Hohhot Genshin plant, will face extensive job losses and short-term economic decline. Experts expect the government will try to preserve mining jobs by retrofitting coal-fired power plants with carbon capture and storage technology, which lessen the amount of waste carbon dioxide that enters the atmosphere. But that technology has not yet proven to work at a scale that can match China's consumption needs. So how will China reconcile its climate goals with its energy reality? For now, observers are looking to next 5-year plan. The central government's latest round of reforms and economic growth targets, which will be publicly available in March 2021. Climate activists hope the plan will include specifics that were not included in Xi's UN speech. Government needs to set a much higher target for renewable energy use and an absolute carbon reduction target. As for coal-fired plant construction, this needs to be immediately put on the shelf.
हालात हाजरा का ये प्रोग्राम करंट अफेयर्स डाइजेस्ट की इदारती टीम ने तैयार किया है। आप अपनी कीमती आरा से हमें हमारे सोशल मीडिया लिंक्स के जरिए आगाह कर सकते हैं। हमारी कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में मौजूद हैं।